Okay, Roadie session. So this is 3 days after his last treadmill. So that was the Tuesday, this is the Friday. Both my dogs are here. I want him to have some more time around them. Now Rollo's feeling much closer to his normal self. I really am quite interested to see if I can get Rollo to actually do being a dog with Roadie. Rollo, the reason I have hopes of that, Rollo has, since he's been on his meds, he has begun initiating play with Tora again at home, something he hasn't done since really the end of last summer, due to his hypothyroidism and therefore lack of energy and interest. But he has, in the last few days, been initiating play. So I'm hoping that's going to translate here into him showing a bit more interest in Roadie. Hi boy. If that doesn't occur and we don't really get any interest or any interactions like that, I'm just going to take them all out, all three of them at once. Won't be a very long walk. I'm not doing that for an hour. That would kill me. So I will give him half an hour, and if we're getting play and we're having fun between the dogs, I'll leave them here and let them continue doing that. If we're not getting any of that, then I will take them out for half an hour. So I'm not going to film all half an hour to start with. As before, I will just get the camera out as and when if stuff starts to happen. I have my holder, so if we go out for a walk, I will film that. But it'll be me. I don't have a camera person with me, so it'll be back to the body cam, which means you'll probably get some great footage of some trees, some concrete, gravel, grass, whilst the dogs are all having fun doing their own thing off the camera. There we go. So let's see what develops. I'll give it half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. Maybe I'll see if I can manage 40, and we'll take it from there. Rollo's licking the little food bowl. I don't know what Tora's doing, where she's gone. Oh, she's here. Just doing a boundary check, as the sort of thing Tora does. Bless you. Well, it's been 20 minutes and all they've done is have an explore of the back garden and lie down together in the house in the court. So try taking them out. We'll see how we go. So because this is three very big, very powerful, very strong dogs, I am not using the long line today. I am going to also tie Rollo and Roadie together with this leash, which has some bungee to it. But I would like Rollo to act as a brake on Roadie. I think that would be very good for him. So we're doing it. No mic, apologise for the wind, it is going to be windy. It's not as bad as it was the other day, but I didn't bring my mic. Well, technically I did. I put it in my coat pocket and then decided it was warm, took my coat off at home. So my coat pocket has the mic in it, it's just not here. So that's Tora clipped in. Alright, Roadie, let's get you clipped on. It's not a very big clip for you, is it? Let's not chew the leash. I'll just jump in with the voiceover here. So Roadie's in a harness this time. First time I've tried him in a harness. That I've done that specifically to try and keep the leash out of reach of his mouth, which, as you just heard, I've already failed at. He's tried chomping on it already. Yes, I've stuck him in a harness because I want to get the leash further away from his face, so when he gets a little bit frustrated, he doesn't turn around and chew on it like he has a habit of doing when it's attached to his collar. I've also, as you heard me say, I've attached him to Rollo. I want Rollo to act as a brake. The harness, whilst it's fine for Roadie, wasn't the greatest thing in the world with Rollo being attached to him. It did kind of slip round the side of him a bit, because he and Rollo would occasionally go in different directions and pull on each other. Hey, that's just a feature of the specific harness he's got. I'm sure different models of harnesses would be slightly better at this than others, but this is the one we got, so this is what we're working with. Same method for leaving the house as always. I want some calm, but this is three big dogs. and they don't give me as much calm as I would like. All three are actually pretty keen to get going here, and you have to try and stay calm in this situation, not lose your temper, not get frustrated. Did get a little bit frustrated actually. I let them know as much and stood my ground at one point, which you'll see in a minute. I just grabbed the leashes, stand my ground and hold hard. Roadie was trotting off. He gets brought abruptly to a halt. The leash he's on is elastic. Here they go. They're off there. So I just stood my ground there. All the leashes have gone tight. Roadie and Rollo have got a little bit tied up. So I've had to go up to them and untangle them. And this bit, I'm back to being quiet, back to trying to restore calm by being calm. Roadie's off again. And Tora's going and looking in a different direction. So I'm pulling them back there because they're about to walk in the road and we can't do that. I need to sort Roadie's harness out and give it. I did that once. That's the only time I did it because it kept happening. I gave that up straight away. So I pulled them back away from the path then because they were just going to go into a road. There was someone in the driveway opposite, and Tora was facing different directions. So now we're actually off proper. As you can see immediately, Roadie pulls Rollo and the leashes get tied up because Tora decides to walk underneath. Brilliant. And so there's a lot of hand dancing around with the leash here. Oh, Roadie's gone backwards. I don't know what he's doing there. I don't remember that. And another abrupt. I've just stopped and I've just held the leash because they're being clowns by the road. So no shouting at them, no commands. It's just a case of you're not doing what is needed to move forward. So I'm stopping. They're on short leashes, by the way, not my usual long line. So as soon as I stop, they all stop because the leashes, they reach the end of the leash real quick. And I stopped hard. I'm not doing a pull back, except when they got close to the road. I just stop. But I make a point of stopping, and there is a physicality to that. It's not a gentle have a little bit of leash and slowly pull them to a stop. It's a bang. I'm not moving. You're not doing what is required to allow yourselves to move forward. You're being clowns. Knock it off. But that doesn't come via commands. It comes via just stop and you wait. And then I did have to intervene a few times to untangle Rollo and Roadie and Tora, who a few times will duck under them as we go, which is a bit annoying. But hey, I'm walking three big dogs and you have to expect a bit of chaos when you're in this situation. But the key here is if you don't want to lose control, you really have to keep it quiet. You have to keep yourself calm, and they'll know when I get frustrated, and they did know when I get frustrated. Those two boys, they went forwards towards that road when they'd sensed I was getting frustrated because they wanted to be away from my space because I was annoyed, and they probably heard me snort or breathe loudly. You know how you exhale when you're getting annoyed. You've got to squash it hard, get calm, hold your ground until you are calm, and then the dogs get calm, and then you can move forward. Now you can see the results of that where we're walking nicely because I'm back to calm. So that wasn't the best exit from the property or the house. That's the way it goes. Right, it is going to be windy, so I'll try and use the original audio as much as I can, but you're probably going to find I'm going to have to do a bit of talking. There's no loss of audio by me by doing the voiceover. There's no barking, snarling, lunging, growling, or anything like that in this video. So when I'm talking over, it's just going to be to cover off the wind. We'll try the original audio and we'll see how we go. But see how Roadie and Rollo do, and they're about to. Oh, he did go around to a good, and see how Tora occasionally gets tangled up. Otherwise, just enjoy the show. See, there's no one around. Last thing you need, Tora, is the boys doing that too. So Rollo's put the brakes on Roadie. That's what we like to see, but Tora's doing Tora things, pushing through. So I'm reasonably comfortable with Roadie trying to lead Rollo because I don't think he's going to get very far. We're not going down there, dogs. We are absolutely not going down there. Way too narrow for some poor pedestrian that comes along. Now, Rollo's shed a lot of fur of late. I really hope that doesn't mean he can pop off his collar. Yeah, you're attached to Rollo, really. You can't just walk on. You have to pay some deference to the guy who weighs twice as much as you, nearly 1.8 times as much as you, because otherwise you're going to get dragged. School bell's going. It's early, it won't be the finish of school. Yeah, see me there, beautiful, beautiful. Roadie can't go anywhere because Rollo's got the brakes on. So Rollo is controlling Roadie's speed at this moment. Tora's in Rollo's way. Yeah, well, you're going to have to figure that out, dogs. I'm not here to redistribute leash pressure if you can't work out which direction is forwards, backwards, and the leashes go around you. That is not my problem. Breaking my own rule there again. You could tell the frustration was creeping into my voice. Yeah, wrong thing to do. I've got to squash it. I do manage it. I did realise that was happening to myself. I was self-aware and did squash that. But yeah, it's something you really got to fight actively sometimes. When dogs do dumb stuff, like Tora wrapping up Rollo with her leash, and then nobody's moving anywhere, and Roadie's trying to pull Rollo along. Yeah, you can't get frustrated. It never goes well. It's counterproductive. You've got to squash that frustration yourself, otherwise everything will get worse. I'm only a human. I get frustrated when they do silly things. Of course I do, just like any other person. But yeah, it's on me to notice that and fix it in myself. There's no one else I can put that responsibility onto, and it is absolutely imperative that I do fix it. And I do. The rest of the walk goes pretty well, and I don't get wound up about stuff. But yeah, it happens, and you have to squash it. You really do have to squash it. Our own frustration is what causes a lot of the bad behavior in the dogs, because they feed off our moods. If you're wound up, you're frustrated, your dog's going to react accordingly. If you're calm and you're relaxed, your dog is going to be more calm and more relaxed. Warm, folks. It's not supposed to be. The weather forecast was for a cold day. I was expecting to need a jumper and a coat. It's warm. The weathermen got it wrong. Yeah, I'm just in a t-shirt and I'm warm. I know I'm walking, like I'm in the sunshine, but yeah. Okay, let's swap hands briefly. Yeah, Roadie's trying to lead Rollo around a bit. Rollo particularly enjoying it. But he's quite capable of putting the brakes on. We're not going under there. So I'm not talking to the dogs, I'm talking to me or to you on the film. I'm not giving the dogs instructions. Yeah, it would be nice to do a proper path walk. We could walk around the outside to the house by the road, but this is a lot of dog. Anyone coming the other way that does not like what they see coming at them is going to freak out. I haven't really had that in this area much, but it's a bit unfair. It's a bit unfair to present random members of the public with this front of huge dogs all coming straight at them, one of which isn't really under control. He's even just dragging Rollo. But it is having a desired effect. It is slowing him down. He's not constantly taut on the leash, and he's just reaching the elastic limit there, but it's not tight. It's getting a bit much. I'm just going to hold the boys back there because they've got tight on the leash. I'm not really interested in that. And Tora's decided to stop. It's very kind of her. Very kind of her. Here comes the wind again. And if the worst of the worst does happen and Rollo's collar slips off, really I'm not that bothered. Sorry, you didn't really hear me say what I said then because of the wind. Saying if the worst of the worst happens and Rollo does have his collar pulled off by Roadie, and Rollo goes off leash, I'm actually not that concerned. Of the three dogs, Rollo's the one who does regularly go off leash in public. Tora less so. I wouldn't do that around here because she doesn't know the area particularly well. I don't think she'd do anything really stupid, but I don't trust her as much as I do Rollo off leash. Rollo would just follow wherever I went with Roadie and Tora. If I took Tora off the leash, She's a lot more comfortable, a lot further away from me than Rollo is, and we are near a couple of busy roads. They're only 150 meters away from us straight ahead at the moment, and as we go around this corner as well as another one. But yeah, that's all I was saying on the recording. If Rollo does end up off leash by accident, and there we go, running over Tora. That's so annoying when that happens. But hey, I'll switch back to original audio in a minute. You just got to deal with it. Just chuckle and wait till I get the opportunity to fix it. Right, so we'll carry on. Bizarre, isn't it? Dogs are hyper aware of everything around them. They're completely uninterested or unable to figure out, don't like a leash around my neck, I don't like a leash around my leg, but I'm going to just walk into the situations at which that occurs anyway, and I'm just going to have a strop if it happens to me. It's bizarre, utterly bizarre that they don't figure that one out in their heads. Right, I see a teenager / young adult coming from my left, maybe two. Oh, they could be the parents. There's a child in front of them, so they're just short people. Bit mean of me. Yeah, so child coming ahead. They're not coming our direct way. Oh no, they're people on scooters. Right, so they're primary school children. Oh boy, am I wrong today. My word. 3 primary school children, no adults. Nothing like that. Right, on scooters. Tora's not the best with scooters. Oh, there is someone else. So I'm going to give these guys some space, because I know Tora's not the best with scooters. She's not the worst, don't get me wrong. I don't really expect there to be anything significant about this. Thank you. Nice. So, interested but not crazy. Perfect, really. That is what you want. Interested but not anything silly. And I was ready just in case there was. So they're not electric scooters, so that's Tora still not over electric scooters completely. I think it's the noise. It could be the speed at which they move, and because the people on them aren't doing anything, so it is just a ride. But they make a noise. My dogs can definitely hear the noise, as they hear them coming a mile off, and I don't. He's kind of pulling, but the leash isn't tight. We're not really elastic limiting it, but I'm going to slow that down anyway because it's getting on my nerves. Oh boys. Yeah, how about you? So, the rules. These two don't really know the rules, and they're together for the first time, so there's 2 ways of approaching it. It could be super strict, could be a bit more relaxed. I'm going with a bit more relaxed at the moment, partially because I've got Tora as well. It's going to be extremely hard. So really, this is not an anti-pulling walk. This is kind of is because I've strapped him to Rollo, but I'm not being the dictator of every pull I get means you stop. Rollo's going to the toilet. So he's just arrested Roadie. Nice, happy with that. Stop Roadie going anywhere. Roadie's not giving up the position very easily. Alright, just wait please. Again, I'm talking to the dogs. No need, don't talk. They need to know that when we've done a poo, we stop when we get the poo. It's not a negotiable thing. Every single time it occurs, every single time we pick it up. It's not anything weird or new or different, and the expectation is on you, dog, to wait for me. It's not a case of you're just free to walk and do whatever you want when you want. Now, it's been 50 meters ahead of me, so I can do that. So again, the release is not a word. The release is me walking. Them to be in tune with me. My footsteps are what's important. Roadie's getting dragged along by Rollo now. Good. There we go. Let's just come back over Rollo's tail. I'm sure that's quite uncomfortable for him. Let's switch back. Switch your hands back. Okay, so I see some more people in the distance. Looks like more of the primary school children. Just going to dump this poop in the bin, and we'll carry on. The boys are heading off somewhere else. It's not where we're going. Tora's having a sniff of stuff. I mean, she's got a lot more leash, so I can just leave her doing that. I'll stop it a bit in here. I like to stop a bit in here. I don't really want you in there today, dogs. Flies really are back, aren't they? It's that time of year. Ugh. Okay, so Roadie's gone into a bit of a pool. It's not horrendous yet. It's not the worst. I was not acting as much of a break at that point, which tells me the pool wasn't really that bad. And there's said person with a dog in front of us. That's the guy I saw. Okay, so we now have a dog in front of us. Tora's clocked it. Rollo won't be far behind. Neither will Roadie. Roadie just got shouldered out of the way. Good. So yeah, there's a little bit of manner teaching here. But Roadie doesn't have any leash manners. He doesn't really have any personal space manners. So, I mean, I get it at his own home. It kind of makes sense. It's his home. My two dogs are in his space in his home. He just barges through. And yeah, okay, it's rude. It's not very nice, but it's also social skill stuff. It's learned. You have to learn that behaviour, and it's something dog parents and only other dogs can teach their dogs. You can teach a dog to give you personal space, but only other dogs are going to teach the dogs to give each other personal space. And generally speaking, thus far, my dogs just give him the space. They just get out of the way. It's odd. They don't demand respect from him. They just ignore him. That wouldn't fly, as they say. Our house, where Rollo and Tora's territory is, that kind of spatial disrespect. Not at all. But hey, like I said, it's a social skill. It's got to be learned. No, I'm jumping in on voiceover here because we lose everything to wind for the next 30 seconds. You just can't hear anything except wind noise, even though I'm trying to talk. I was just explaining about the personal space and how you learn personal space. Dogs teach dogs that. You could only teach it between you and your dog. You can't teach it between dogs and other dogs. But yeah, Roadie gets his personal space at his home. Of course he does. But it's unusual in the way that my dogs acquiesce to him. They don't really do that to any other dogs. Even if we go around someone else's house, my dogs will be much more forthright in enforcing their own personal space and boundaries. But Roadie just kind of he just walks through them sometimes. He's even gone under Rollo's legs before. I think even maybe he did it to Tora once. And my dogs just get out of the way. They're just not interested in the clowning around that he does. Because he's not being mean or he's not trying to be dominant. It's like a bull in a china shop, social skills. He doesn't have any. And so he's learning them slowly, and he has to figure out what the manners and politeness is. He just never learnt them when he was younger. But it is interesting that my dogs don't force him a little bit more forthrightly or a little bit more bluntness than they would other dogs. Strange, but it just goes to speaks to how they see or don't see Roadie and how they treat him. I've said it on many of my videos before. They just don't or didn't in the early days see Roadie as a dog. They're just watching the kids play in the park up there. The boys were quite fascinated by them for a few seconds. Tora was the first one to crack and start treating Roadie like a dog. She was the first one that gave him the face sniff, the butt sniff, and actually played with him. Which Rollo still hasn't played with him. He's still not done that. When I had Shrek and Dolly around, Dolly didn't interact with Roadie at all. She was quite wary of him. Shrek played with him nicely. Shrek interacted with him. But yeah, Dolly did kind of what Rollo does, but Rollo's not wary, just not interested. Whereas Dolly was more wary. Every time Roadie looked at her and started to approach, she just got out of the space. She was just not interested. I mean, they coexisted peacefully, but Dolly was just, something was off about Roadie to her, and so she didn't interact with him. And that's fine. You just got to go with whatever you get. There was no ill will and no malice between them, just
didn't want to be friends. That's kind of how I categorize Roadie and Rollo. Rollo knows he exists and they're tied together, for goodness sake. But there's no attempt to making a bridge towards friendship from Rollo to Roadie. It's quite strange to see. And he is literally the only dog in the world that Rollo's ever come across that he's treated like this. I don't say that having said Rollo's only met a few dogs. Rollo has genuinely met somewhere around the region of 7,000 dogs in his life. And he's four and a half years old, and he goes all over the place into big city like Melbourne, into our local areas, to dog parks all over the city, all over our local town. We go places that are a long way away and close, and on a weekend walk, when we go to the busy places, we can see 200 dogs on a walk. We're out for 2.5, 3 hours, and we can walk past a dog every 30 seconds for that entire time. The summer days when we're doing beach walks, or we go to the bigger, busier dog parks, and you can see 200-300 dogs a session, and you're out there for 2-3 hours. And he's been doing that pretty much every weekend, and not weekdays. But we do go to dog parks on weekdays as well, and we do walk in busy places. And we go twice a day still. So I'm not exaggerating. I'm being conservative when I say Rollo has met somewhere in the region of 7,000 dogs. Roadie is the only one that he's just not the slightest bit interested in. It's weird. It is really weird. Rollo is a super social, super enthusiastic dog meter, dog greeter, and just really happy to be in other dogs' company. Roadie, it's like, just doesn't exist for Rollo. He acknowledges he's there sometimes. They've done face sniffs. Rollo's done a butt sniff once or twice, but he just pays him no attention, none at all. I suppose Rollo's growled at Roadie a couple of times when there was food in the vicinity, and Rollo was chomping on the food, and Roadie approached. Rollo gave him the "don't you dare," and Roadie listened, which was good. It was the right thing to do. Very, very strange. It was a strange relationship between these two dogs. I don't get it. I don't get it. But it speaks to Roadie and the particular body language he has, the vibes he gives off. It isn't fully dog-like to Rollo, and so Rollo has no interest in him. It is odd. Hey, there's enough jabbering on about that. It is still windy here, which is why I'm still waffling. There are dogs ahead of us. I don't know where I'll stop there. So there's some in the distance. I don't think they ever quite make it onto camera. I'm pointing over to the left, kind of where I'm pointing now. There's a couple of people over there. There's a dog over there, but I don't think they stay very long, and they disappear off behind the trees pretty quick. And we don't get close to them. We see them, the dogs see them, but that's about it. We don't get the opportunity to do any work around them, unfortunately. The dog owner who had the dog we saw earlier on the walk, he reappears magically kind of to my left and behind me. But again, he's still walking in the same direction we are, so I don't really know how he got where he is both times, to be in front of me and still going the same direction, but he turned off somewhere else. So maybe he cut through the reeds or the marsh, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'll try and go back to original audio, and if it's still horrendously windy, I'll come back. And it is, I can see Rollo's fur blowing, but we'll try it. There's the dogs over on the left, or straight ahead now, people moving away. This is as close as we get. I think you're going to see some pulling. Anyway, I'll try and go back to original audio. If that doesn't work, I'll jump back in and talk.
Well, he's a happy puppy, and I'd love to just keep him that way.
Yeah, so that's pointless. It's still horrendously windy. So voiceover again. So the dog, it was a little puppy, I think a golden retriever puppy, so very young puppy, obviously a very young puppy, and a slightly older dog. I can't remember the breed. I don't think it was another golden retriever. I can't remember. The dogs are actually doing, sorry, I'm yawning, apologies. The dogs are actually doing pretty well, and you can see what the boys are looking one way, and Tora's gone a different way. I don't know what she's seen or is smelling or what she's doing. So I'm just waiting for her to catch up. She's not locked on the leash. She can go and take whatever she wants up to the length of the leash, 10 meters I think, or 8 meters. When she chooses to join us, we move on. So they are, as you can see, Tora goes in the oval, and that's not where we're going. So I just wait. I think maybe I use a voice command for Tora, but anyway, face the direction we want to go, and As you can see, it's why I'm facing this way. I'm using my body to show this is the direction we're going. Tora's hit the end of the leash. So now we just wait for her to come out. Oh, Roadie's looking at me weird. Yeah, and then we move this way. So this is where we're going. We're not going through the oval. And now we're going to go smell where those dogs were. Oh, I do apologise. I'm sorry. Oh. Rollo just yawned behind me. I don't know why I've been susceptible to a yawn. He's lying down behind me while I'm doing this voiceover. I looked at him. So they're smelling where the dogs were meeting. Tora's already over it, so is Rollo. Now they can probably still hear them, as there were two different owners chatting as they walked along. They're not, because it's a puppy, they're not moving fast. But they didn't go this way. They turned right. We're going left because we're on the way back home at this point. We're not far from it. Can't see the other dog owner yet. No, can't. But we do definitely come across the original dog owner that we saw earlier on in the video. He is around here somewhere. I can't remember. Perhaps he's just past these trees. I haven't watched further on than this yet on the vid. So this is the first time I'm rewatching this segment. Most of it I'd already rewatched because I have vague memories of things that occurred, but I haven't rewatched this segment. I will say though that the boys are actually walking pretty nice now. The clipping them together on this bungee leash does seem to have had the desired effect. It's calmed Roadie down and slowed him down, because Rollo's not walking fast and Rollo's approximately twice the weight of Roadie, so Roadie can't really drag him about very easily if Rollo doesn't want to be dragged about. Another bit of tangling going on. Oh, fine. Yeah, it just is. Oh, Tora's ducked out of it. Look at that. Tora working out how the leashes work. What's going on here? Well, maybe not. Maybe I just manually untangled them. We've got some temporary fence supports coming up, so I do use the leash to drag them around. I'm not having the dogs get stuck under that and having a fence fall down on top of them. So we do step out a bit wide. I do lock Tora's leash as well. We're not doing that. That would be a catastrophe. I don't want fences falling down on people or dogs. Right, I still can't see the dog owner. Where they are. Maybe they're just not picked up on the camera and I could see them through the trees, but the camera won't see them. But yeah, again, nice to see Roadie walking. Yeah, there's a little bit of tension on that leash, but he has not reached the elastic limit. He is not actually pulling Rollo, but there's a little bit of tension there, but it's not awful. I don't know where Tora's gone here. Did they all go around the tree the same way? They must have done. I'd have had to have stopped by that point. So yeah, that was nice. Tora's kind of paying attention to what's going on enough that she didn't tie me up around a tree. One of her favourite tricks. She's pretty notorious for it when I've got her and Rollo together, although I don't tie them together. I've done a couple of times, but generally speaking, rather have them separate. Now we've got a bit of leash tangling going on again. Yep, the joys. Yeah, again, you can't get frustrated with this stuff. You just got to let it wash over you. It's a good socialisation walk for Roadie. It's a good lesson strapping him to Rollo, and I would like to think some of that additional calmness from Rollo is rubbing off on Roadie, because he didn't really do anything silly. I didn't see any, what's the word? Charging, that's the word. I didn't see him charging towards any smells as fast as he could. He was just bibbling along, which isn't very Roadie-like, but is good. That's what we want. We want him just bimbling along, happy existing. We don't want him yanking and dragging and being crazy. Shake by Rollo. So I've shortened the leashes here right back down because we're going through the alleyway, and I need to have short leashes so I can ready to react if someone comes around the corner of the dog, or if someone's scared of dogs comes around the corner, and that causes a reaction with any of these three. So short leashes, ready to go down here and then back to the house, and that's the walk over. Stopping to sniff. I'm pulling fur off the leash. Tora's shedding, says Rollo. But yeah, on the retractable leash, the fur gets stuck on it and then gets into the mechanism, and that's not very good for it. So I'm just pulling the fur off there. And whilst I was doing that, of course, Tora's decided to get tangled up with the boys again. The fun. Never mind. Right, we're off. It's a shame I'm pointing the camera at the grass. I don't know how I managed to point that. What am I doing? I don't know what's going on there. I've stepped over the leash. Tora must have tied me up. I don't know what she's doing. But so helpfully we can't see down the alley. There's nothing coming. No one comes. It's no stress at this time on the walk. Yeah, nice to see the boys are still walking pretty nice together. Already got a little bit of a pull from Rollo there, and so he had to catch up. Oh yeah, there's this dumped rubbish on the left hand side. The dogs are all quite interested in this. Tora, unusually for her, not so interested. Yeah, I'd have thought she'd have been all over that. She actually goes into an avoid curve there. She started off to the right hand side. Tora's gone into an avoid curve of this dumped rubbish, which is unusual, especially given that the boys are well into it and wanted to have a good sniff. I mean, I let them have the full length of the leash. Rollo certainly gave it a sniff and then just moved on. Tora would usually join him, but maybe she just wants to get back to Roadie's house because she's certainly leading at this point. Anyway, that is the walk over. There is a couple of minutes of interaction in the home with Roadie, who tries to hump Tora a couple of times in the garden, and Tora puts him in his place appropriately. So we'll run through and on that, and it won't be windy, so I will stop waffling and I will go back to original audio, and you can see and hear the interactions of Tora and Roadie. Just going to drop the leash, sort it out once we're in. Okay, Tora, let's get you undressed. Get Roadie undressed. Ready? Let's get you out of your A, the leash, B, the harness. Okay. Let's get Rollo undressed. That's hard work. That is hard work. That's my keys. Right, I need that to get out. My jumper. Right, I'll stop filming because we're literally just going to go in a sec. Right, we got Roadie getting a little bit big for his britches here. He's trying to hump Tora. She's just moved out of the way so far, so I've started filming. Twice he's just tried to do it. She's literally just stepped out of the way. Interesting, very interesting. Not seen him do that. Interesting, he tried to do it Tora, not Rollo. Roadie's neutered and Tora's not in season. So, yeah, interesting. Let's see if he does it again. Let's see what she does. Yeah, I've not intervened because Tora's just stepped out of the way. It's not bothered her. She hasn't even growled at him. She literally just stepped out of the way. So she's de-escalating. She's not offering any additional energy into the situation or corrections. She's literally just stepped out of the way. Like you should do when someone's annoying you. You don't just necessarily need to turn around and slap them in the face as the first thing you do. You just ignore them and they'll go away. That's the approach she's taken. I do wish I had that on film. I was just packing up and putting my leash in the car. As I came back in, I saw, here he goes, he's going to do it here. Yeah, so she's going to correct him for that, and deservedly so. Rollo's come trotting up to see what that was about. Rollo ain't going to tolerate that either. Rollo's going to jump in and correct him, as in Roadie. So yeah, I'll let that go. Tora's given her a correction. Roadie's taking the lesson. He's taken it well. He's taken it as he should do. No ill will, no issues. He's gone up to check her out, see if they're still friends. Yep, perfect. Tick, very good. That is how it should go when you have dogs that are taking things correctly and they are listening and they are behaving as they should do. There is not a squabble for mating rights. It's not a squabble for pack position. It's just dogs. Just dogs being dogs. So great. Anyway, it is time for us to go. We are way over the hour mark now. I know Roadie's going to try and come with us. He always does, which makes my exits from here not the easiest things in the world. But I suppose it's kind of nice that he wants to come with us. Anyway, I'm not filming now. I've taken my camera holder off, so we're going to go. But it's not the prettiest of things. You kind of have to push him out of the way. Somebody wants more treats. She knows where the treats are. Right, we got to go.